This isn't some damn game. The American people don't want their government shut down, and neither do I.
Welcome back to Ring of Fire. I'm Mike Papantonio. John Boehner has his hands tied by Tea Party extremists who are willing to burn down our economy for their selfish goals. So why are long-standing GOP politicians willing to do that? I have attorneys Dave Tissell and Howard Nations with us to help answer that question. So Howard, let me begin with you. How is the hijacking of the Republican Party working out?
Well, Mike, you're seeing a very clear indication of the effect of the inmates running the asylum within the Republican Party with the NBC Wall Street Journal poll this weekend. It shows that the Republican Party has a 24% approval rating. God knows who those 24% are, but they have a 24% approval rating, which is the lowest rating in their history, even lower than Watergate. They have a 53% disapproval rating. Really interesting that the Tea Party only has a 21% approval rating, which is just 3 points less than the Republican Party. But the disapproval of the Tea Party, 47%, is actually, the disapproval is lower than the Republican Party. 53% of people disapprove of the Republicans, only 47% disapprove of the Tea Party. Is it working as their strategy against President Obama? No. President Obama is 2-1 in favorabilities over them. He has a 47% approval rating and only 41% disapproval. So, and
Dave, let me go to you. Hasn't this, you know, if you're a person who wants to end Obamacare, hasn't this been the worst thing the Republicans could have done, because they've got all this attention that they've been having to pay towards this whole budget fight, while the Obamacare program has been it's been going full tilt now, or it's approaching full tilt, because the Republicans have been their attention has been towards this stupid, idiotic, this brain dead approach to government. What do you think?
Mike, absolutely. I think one of the things that's really important to understand about the Tea Party is the Tea Party is really not about governing, and it's not about doing what's right for the American people. And in many ways, it's not really just about Obamacare. It's about rolling back all of the progressive policies, Social Security, Medicaid, everything that's been good about this country that we, from FDR and the New Deal on. And what we've seen now is that the Tea Party, through a small group of people and with a bunch of large money backers, the Koch brothers, and a lot of the conservative groups that give money to the Tea Party, were able to basically hijack the Congress and bring us now to the brink of defaulting on our debt, of not paying our bills, something our country has never done, and that will cause a cataclysm if it happens, if it still could happen to this country. And what the Tea Party is doing is taking this, and every 6 months or every short period of time, they want to bring us and put the gun to the head of the American people and to the government and extract some form of concessions. And here, Obamacare is just the start.
In other words, Howard, elections don't really mean anything with this new Republican House of Crazies, as you point out. There's no question that the people behind this are exclusively Republican. I mean, even the moderate organizations in this country, Wall Street's talking about how crazy it is. Chamber of Commerce, you know, those bunch of big business thugs that really are not even American businesses. They're run by international conglomerates. They see this as a bad idea. If you take a look at the list, it's Club of Growth, Heritage Action, National Taxpayers Union, Family Research Council, on and on, all of them right-wing Republican crazies. Add to that Ted Cruz. Howard, take it from there and tell me what the net effect of this is for Ted Cruz and those organizations.
Well, the first effect of it is the blame for the shutdown. The shutdown of government, they're trying so very hard to blame it on the president. The polls showed that 53% of the voters blame Republicans for the shutdown, 31% blame the president. And as far as Cruz is concerned, he's getting what he wants. Ted Cruz has a brilliant strategy for Ted Cruz. In the presidential values poll this weekend, Cruz far and away led all candidates for president in that group. In Iowa, Michelle Bachmann won the first straw poll. Cruz and Palin were together this weekend at the War Memorial, lying to veterans about who is responsible for the shutdown of the World War II memorial. So Cruz has found his intellectual soulmate in Sarah Palin, and the question is whether the dream ticket for the Tea Party is going to be Cruz Bachmann or Cruz Palin. But either way.
Well, hey, we would take, I mean, look, I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent, but anybody with any kind of brain about politics would gladly take a Cruz Bachmann or Cruz Palin ticket to easily defeat. Let me ask you, Dave, Boehner didn't want this to happen, did he? Boehner, in his support, Boehner started off saying, look, we're going to come out with a clean bill. We're not going to get into a war here about Obamacare because we think it's stupid.
Yeah.
What happened after that?
Yeah, what we've got here is we've got a civil war going on in the Republican Party. And in September of this year, Harry Reid has already come public and said, Senator Reid has said that John Boehner came to him, the Speaker of the House, and said he wanted a clean budget resolution. He didn't want to have this fight. He understood that elections matter. He understood that Obamacare was the law of the land. It's important to know that the Tea Partiers tried to bring this up in March of this year, the first time there was a dust-up, and sent a letter to John Boehner and to Eric Cantor and said, you know, hey, we Tea Partiers, we want to put Obamacare on the table. And that shocked Boehner. And he quickly got the votes together before the Tea Party could make the fight. And now, in September, he realized he didn't want to have this fight. And he agreed. He said to Harry Reid, I think we can have a clean budget resolution, and the agreement would be to keep the spending at levels reflective of the continuation of the automatic budget cuts that resulted from the 2011 deal. That would have been a huge concession that he would have won for his party, for Republicans. But he could not control his own party because the Tea Partiers are intent on taking down Obamacare and taking down this government. John Boehner, if he wanted to actually lead, if he actually wanted to govern, he would have stood up to the people in his own party, that small minority, and said to them, this is the thing we have to do for our country. But he didn't do that because he's more worried about keeping his speakership. And in doing that, he's turned the keys of the car over to Ted Cruz and Michelle Bachmann and Sarah Palin and that ilk.
I am concerned that what we're seeing here playing itself out just has the potential to repeat itself time and time again because of gerrymandering. I mean, there's no question that that's what this is about. And we see that at any point you have the Republicans that can stop government. They can stop a good public policy simply by being recalcitrant in the House and just acting like ignorant rubes that they are. And so I compare what's happening with what even the moderates in the party. Paul Ryan came out along with Boehner and said, "Look, we can't do this. We shouldn't do this. This is bad policy. We have a Democratic president. We have to ride that out. We have a Democratic Senate. We have to ride that out, and we simply have to. We can't look crazy." And almost as soon as Paul Ryan said that, they started acting like the lunatics, born in Crazyville.
Well, that's true, but you have to remember to place a certain amount of blame on the Senate Republicans because Boehner did pass a clean CR through the House. It only got 14 votes against it from the Tea Party. They were crushed. But then it goes over to the Senate. When it got to the Senate, Ted Cruz stepped up and filed an amendment to delay Obamacare. In doing so, this is where Ted Cruz gained all of his power because all of the senators of the Republican Party in the Senate voted with Cruz on his delaying Obamacare. It was a party line vote. It was defeated by the Democrats, of course, but every one of those senators who had the opportunity to stand up at that point and say, stop this foolishness right now, voted with that bill with Ted Cruz. As a result, Cruz became the new hero of the conservatives. He went back over to the House and said, okay, you guys take it from here. We can do this. He became the de facto Speaker of the House of Representatives.
You can't let the Democrats go on this either, can you? Haven't the Democrats brought themselves to this point in effect by being so damn weak. Weak-chinned, weak-willed, weak leadership. As a matter of fact, what Reid had agreed to before the clean bill, this thing called the clean bill started, was anything but a clean bill. It was taking rights away from elderly. It was taking rights away from America's most impoverished. It was taking safety nets away. It was anything but a good bill to begin with. But that's because we have Democrats who I call Wall Street Democrats. What's your take on that?
Absolutely. And I think there's two main points on that. First of all, I think the Democrats have bent over backwards for several years now. It was all about Obama getting elected in 2012 and making it to his second term. And even after the second term, whenever it came time that the Tea Party could be crushed or put back or pushed down, the Democrats gave in and gave them victories and gave them momentum. And as it's continued to happen, it's only fueled the fire. It's only said to the extreme right wing, hey, all we have to do is put a gun to the head of the American people, and the Democrats will cave. They'll give us what we want. We'll take it if we have to take big chunks or small chunks at a time. The idea that Democrats would simply agree to take that 2011 deal and the automatic cuts and concessions and make that the law of the land without a fight is mind-boggling.
Just because they are so weak, Howard. This really does flow. It all flows from the top. It all flows to Obama. There are emails and memos out saying if we push Obama, he will cave. It's more than one or two of those. It's more than one of the two of those emails and those talking points surface. This is a president who caves, and that this is why we are here to a certain degree, because they've counted on him caving, right?
Well, they have counted on him caving, but fortunately for President Obama, the caving has happened mostly on the Republican side. There's an absolute vacuum in leadership. Where is Christie? Where's McConnell? Where's Boehner? Where is Ryan? Where are the real supposed leaders of the Republican Party right now when Ted Cruz is out there taking over leadership of the party? Cruz has got a brilliant strategy for Cruz. Cruz has 5 years to his next election. He's gained the support of every single one of the big money people. All the big right-wing people are behind him very strongly, and you're hearing nothing from the leaders.
Yeah, he certainly is the new Republican Joe McCarthy. That's what we can expect out of this very scary character. Dave, Howard, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
A pleasure, Mike.